beautiful, and welcome to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I am Patrina Wisdom, author, speaker, and creator of the Pure Abundance Retreat in Belize, and I have the pleasure today to sit with Laquette Padgett, otherwise known as the Cute Coach. She is a speaker, a social media influencer, and also Badass Mom.
I am.
And a life coach. Yes. So we're going to jump in. I'm super excited to have you here. I just love your face. Let's just start there. You're so exotic and beautiful, and your presence is beyond. So I'm super, looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. So with that said, before we go into kind of what you do, I'd love to know who you are. Who is Laquette?
Yes. So I am born and raised Miami-Dade County. I am from Florida. I am an African-American, black, proud woman of 2 girls, 13 and 17. I definitely have tried to instill in them to love themselves and be humble. I have all my life have loved serving the community. I've always loved to go out and feed the homeless, or just I taught and volunteer at dance, and I'm just a people person. I love people, and I just have a passion for just people, a desire to help people. I love to see people prosper. I'm not selfish, and I feel like you put out what you get back what you put out, and I try to create relationships and rapport with people, because I feel like people won't forget you or my kids. If they ever encounter, God forbid, something happens to me, you do good to other people. Yeah, that transfers over to them.
So you have a servitude, heart of service.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it kind of oozes from you. You're very nurturing.
I get
very nurturing. Yeah, I'm sure. And so tell me, I would love to know, it's interesting because I find that some of the most nurturing people, some of the most giving and loving people have had quite the challenges in their life. And I'd love to hear what's been the greatest challenge that you've had to kind of transmute and overcome in your life?
Being present and intentional, and just being okay with. I've never cared about people not liking me. Thank God, I've never been that way. I know people like that, and that will kill you. Not feeling accepted, but it's challenging to always having to prove yourself or validate who you are. But I definitely had many challenges. My mom had me as a teenager. My daughter, my dad, went to prison when I was about 8. He came out of prison, but then he went back recently. He's doing a life sentence. That was a challenge for me, because it was something going on between him and his wife at the time, and I was trying to help him through the situation, but he murdered her. And it was a really trying time. So I was raised initially in a part of down south area called Chocolate City.
Here in Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
They would call the hood, I guess. But but the funny thing is, my mom has never been on a system. My mom has always been a hardworking woman. I was brought up in the church. And most people, when they see me, they think I'm either like, what are you mixed with? But my grandmother's from Georgia. Okay. Like, they used to slaughter their own hogs, and my granddad is from Mississippi. Okay. So I'm a country girl at heart. Yeah. But definitely went through a lot of challenges coming up, and I think that has helped me to evolve in who I am today also. I'm just thankful that even through my challenges, for whatever reason, I may cry and things like that, but it doesn't hold me down. Yeah. And most people are like, I don't even know you're going through anything, because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to carry negativity. Yeah. I'm okay with being open. I'll share my story. I'm open. Whatever you want. But I don't want my testimony to make you, give you this sad type of. Right. I don't want that to make you a sad person. I want my testimony to encourage you. Yes. Yeah.
It sounds like you've developed a level of empathy. Yes. And resilience, definitely. There's another word I'm looking for, just grace even, like you give people grace. right? But how much grace do you give yourself? That's my question.
So not enough. I'm learning to do that recently. I think I will share that when the new year came in, first of all, no one is the same pre versus post pandemic. I don't care who you are, no one. True. You have to sort of rethink, what are you doing? What was I doing? Do I want to still do that? Who am I? Am I still going to do this? What do I want to be? Do I want to be with these people, this person? Everything had to be rethought.
Blown up.
Absolutely. And so I learned that pandemic, I didn't even know who I was. I was lost. Okay. I was completely lost. I started dealing with a little bit of anxiety. And I found, since we were, sort of secluded, I started TikTok. Because it was something that yes, that's how Cute Coach came about. Okay. And it was something that, some people look at it and they start things for the followers, and I never did it for that. I did it because it was something I could control in the moment, and it sort of distracted me from what was going on and me trying to figure out myself, and just dancing is my second-hand nature. Okay. Not first. So I started doing that, and it was weird because people either love you or they don't. Right. Like my daughter was on social media, and she was doing it at 8 years old just because she liked to dance. And she gained she's at 400,000 followers. Wow. But she doesn't like to be on social media like she used to, because of a lot of things that go on. Grew out of it. As I did that though, it helped me. And it may not be a major number to some people, because people out there with 1 million and 100,000 followers. But I'm at 27,000 on TikTok. Nice. For me, I feel like if you have one person that you're encouraging and engaging with, and you're helping, you're influencing, that's a plus. So I'm learning to give myself grace, because people tell me how much, if I'm missing on social media, they notice. Like, where are you? Like, I look forward to your videos, you encourage me. And guess what? 80% of my audience is men. Black men. Wow. Are black men.
Ooh, we gotta jump into this. We have to jump in this. I'm very intuitive, and my hit was that black men want to see black women in their joy. Yes. In their femininity, right? In peace. Yes. And having fun. Yes. And I think that for a long time, and I think that it is and has shifted. There's that stigma of the strong black woman or the angry black woman, and so I think that seeing your videos, dancing and being in joy and being free is probably what they're attracted to, and it transforms them. Yes, I love it. I love that.
You'd be surprised how many I tell people. Some people, they assume and say, oh, they just like you, or they just want to. And I said, if you can read the messages sometimes, they're not. Some of them will tell me what's going on in their lives. They're looking for some positivity. But what I get a lot of times, and I'm so grateful for, my messages, if I show them to you, especially for the men, are all the same. Your energy, your energy, your energy. I appreciate your energy. It's healing. I appreciate your energy. And I appreciate that, because that was my point. It's not for the followers, not to get on there, and not looking for a man. Right. It's to encourage, and I'm just encouraging you about what I do, and so to get that from especially black men, it's powerful. So,
who are your life coaching clients? Are they women? Are they men? Are they a mix?
They're mixed. Okay. We're still growing in that aspect, but again, that would still mostly be black men.
Black men. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. It's interesting, because when I started on my coaching path, I felt called to help men because of the situation with my husband committing suicide, right? And I had this awareness, very acute awareness, of where do the leaders go? Where do the ones that are the head of the household, the head in their business, they have to be strong, or at least they feel like they have to be strong all the time. They feel it's a weakness to ask for help. Where do they go? So I actually started serving men. I created a nonprofit organization called Hands of Comfort, and I was like, this is going to be my deal, right? This is how I'm going to serve the world. And I actually got kind of attacked by men. Yeah, it was pretty traumatizing. I didn't realize it until years later, when I had made the pivot to serving women. but it was kind of a situation where they were saying, well, you don't understand the Black struggle, and you've never been a man, and all of these things like that. So I know that there is a space for women supporting men. Yes. Divine feminine supporting the divine masculine. And it definitely takes a certain person. So I honor you, and I'm so glad you're doing this work, you know, because it is transformative. They need to be seen beyond being the breadwinner, beyond being a sex object, or whatever that, you know, may look like. And I think that you have the safety. I think you have that safety that they might be seeking.
You know, the irony to that is that, so my youngest daughter, Hazel's dad, I don't want to say anything negative because I don't really believe that, but what I'm going to say is that as much as I try to pour into people, I usually do, in my own space, I wasn't able to do that enough in my own relationship. Sometimes you just can't do enough. Sometimes people are not able to receive your energy the way you are and who you are. Right. If they're not a strong enough person in themselves, no matter how much you try to make them, you dummy yourself down. Right. And it's not going to work. And I think that's just what happened. And again, as much as I pour into people, I can't do it enough in my own relationship.
Well, I think it's a misalignment. Yeah. Right? Would you say? I mean, at the time, the woman that you were may not have been clear on what's a yes and a no for you. Right. And this woman, who's had all these incredible experiences, some great, some not so great, has become more clear. Absolutely. And so now you've kind of pulled back and haven't been dating, I think you said, but you're ready to start dating?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm sort of focusing on, again, who I am in a moment. And it doesn't mean that I'm not, yeah, but definitely I'm a different person. I had to realize who I was again. We get lost in relationships. Yeah, lost completely. Between my kids and your relationship, I definitely didn't know who I was. And the TikTok thing, to be honest, the social media thing became an issue, but it almost made me feel like I wasn't sure where I was going either. Yeah. And I remember New Year's, I cried the night before. I was isolated. I won't say why. I was isolated. And I prayed and I was like, where am I going, God? Where am I going? What am I doing? People question, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. And in that isolation, I remember fasting for like 6 days at that point. And a message came and said, continue to use what's in your hand, which was always my phone. Use what's in your hand. Because people, including my relationship, was like, what are you doing? Right. Why are you doing that? Right. And I was like, I didn't even have an answer myself. You're making me question, why am I doing it? Yeah. And he said, no, continue to use this in your phone. And people don't understand it's not how many followers you have, it's who's following you. Right. Go into those followers and pay attention to who's following certain people. There's some major powerhouses and people I've met, amazing people I've met that's following me because I've made an impact. Yes. My daughter went to a meeting, superintendent meeting and greet reason she wanted to speak out. I always encourage them to speak out. She wanted to speak out about college scholarships. And she spoke out, and these people just swarmed afterwards, and they wanted to know who she was, and they were talking to us, and I met quite a few people there. And it's politics, you know, it's right. And someone, and I didn't know any of these people really, and someone came and said, hey, oh, this is cute, coach. I said, oh my God. Right. And I was just, you know, you just don't know who sees you. You don't know who follows you.
Or who you're impacting.
Absolutely. So it's not about the following. Paint a purpose. Be intentional. Be present. Experience life. Don't be so much into perfection. I'm not perfect. I never want to be perfect. I like my flaws. I love my flaws. Yeah. Because it makes me, my imperfections make me perfect.
Make you who you are.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So tell me then, were you doing the speaking and the coaching prior to getting on TikTok, or did the speaking coaching come through that you know, that being visible and kind of putting yourself out there?
Came through that. I always knew I wanted to do that.
Yes.
But again, not being, when you're so lost, and sometimes it shows up. When you show up somewhere, even though you can be an amazing person, but if you're not sure where you're going either, you have to have a little bit of direction. Because sometimes people, I don't want people to feel like, oh, because you don't have it together.
Nobody actually has it all together. Let's be honest, right?
Some people like to put that. That's the only thing I hear about when you're watching. You have to be realistic with social media in the world. Be realistic. I'm a real person. If you're too perfect for me, that's sort of a red flag for me. If you're perfect, nah, I'm good. But yes, it came in with the changing my mindset.
Yes.
Someone walked away from me that I loved, but at the same time, I walked away as well. Because I could have chosen to try to, no, I had to walk away from them. As I walked away, I had to change my mindset. Where am I going? What am I doing? Who's watching me? Who's paying attention? Who am I pouring into? How am I going to pour into myself?
Yes.
How do I love myself?
Right. You're the longest relationship you have.
I am.
So you have to put yourself first.
Learning that, to say no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the premise of my book. It's called Motherhood's Not for Punks.
Oh, it's not for anybody.
And it's a badass mom's guide to self-mastery, mindful mothering, and having it all when you do it all. And the main focus is that we as moms, we nurture, we take care of everybody else, often lose ourselves in relationships with our family, relationships with our kids, taking care of the kids, the man, the parents, right? We're taking care of everybody, and then we end up putting ourselves last. And so I call it sacred self-care, and that's the premise of basically everything I do. Because if it weren't for me putting myself first and releasing the judgment that, you know, oh, well, you're a mom, you should be with your kids, you should be doing this. Well, stop shitting on me. Stop shitting on me. Let me be me. Let me do me, because it's working out just fine for my life, right? So I love hearing that you kind of took a step back and really took back control of your life. And what a beautiful example you're setting for your kids, right? So then tell us, I want you to kind of look in the camera here, because we know that there's a lot of women out here, a lot of people, period. I'm sorry, my heart is just for women. This is who I'm here to serve, right? I don't want to alienate anyone, but women and those who identify as women, there's a lot of them out there that may be struggling, that may be in transition, that may have felt like they completely lost sight of themselves and had a wake-up call during quarantine. So what would be some first steps for regaining and reconnecting with who they are? And you can look right in the camera and talk to them.
So isolate yourself, to get a quiet moment to figure out who you are. And as challenging as that may be, because it sounds so simple, but it is challenging to remove yourself and isolate yourself for a moment. Just think about, you have to be selfish. Figure out where you want to go. And it doesn't have to be perfected. It doesn't have to be a whole sketch plan. It doesn't have to be, it could be just one thing. If you can write down one thing where you want to start. Mindset takes time. It's a process. It doesn't happen in the moment, overnight. Forgive yourself for the choices you made before. And look forward to the choices you're making now. Be present. Be intentional. Whatever you decide to do, be intentional. Be present. Start over. Starting over is okay. I don't care if you're 50, 40, 60, 70. It's okay to start over. If you didn't do it today, do it tomorrow.
Yeah. It's never too late. I always say every single day is a new opportunity to create your life.
Yes.
Right? You can literally start over.
Start over. It's okay.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your energy, for being so vulnerable and honest, and sharing with yourself. Yes, definitely. And we're excited to share more of you. We'll share how they can find you and everything in our bio. Thank you also for joining another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. We look forward to seeing you again next week. We release our episodes every Wednesday on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, whatever your favorite platform is. So make sure you subscribe, you support. I love you. Namaste. And we will see you later. Go create that badass, bodacious life.